Hey, Rich. Hi, Meredith. Thanks everyone for joining today.
How's everyone's Wednesday going? Would love to hear where you all are zooming in from.
Megan, how's your Wednesday going?
Pretty good. It was a little bit of a slow start, but I'm ready to seize the rest of the day. How about you?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Wednesdays are always fun because every other Wednesday I get to do these webinars with my coworker Megan. Um, and yeah, as some of you all may know, we're trying to ramp up this webinar series over here at Reed. And so we really appreciate all of you that were able to make it today.
Yes, we have some super exciting ones coming up too that we'll have some special guests on, so we're really excited.
It's lunchtime though. I'm honestly starving. If it's lunchtime for you all as well, what's your favorite place to go to lunch to in your city?
What are you having for lunch today, Sienna?
I think I ordered a salad and I regret it because I could have gotten Thai food today.
I went the Thai food route and I don't regret it at all.
Ooh, Five Guys. Love it.
Yeah.
Nico Zeros. That's so funny. We have a Nico Zeros in Seattle as well. Pink.
Pinky. I've seen that place so much and I've never went.
Thanks for entertaining us. Charlie also agrees. Thai food is always a great choice.
I'm pumped.
We're going to give people a few more minutes to hopefully join, but really, I think the goal of today is to give a brief overview of Read. We really want to go over how you get started with Read, important settings to pay attention to when you're setting up your account for the first time. Number three, how does Read even join a meeting? Like, what does it look like when Read joins a call? And then, of course, our bread and butter, what a meeting report looks like after a meeting. And then from there, we're going to move into our integrations piece and then show you all how that plays into our newest feature release, which we are all super excited about internally. And I hope that you all are too, which is Search Copilot. I think let's get into it. So, a little bit about us. Of course, my name's Sienna. I sit over here on the business development team here at Read AI. And we're excited to get to know all of you today. Megan?
Yeah, I'm Megan. I also sit over here on the business development team with Sienna. Love being able to host these webinars with her. We have a super fun time. Yeah, just excited to be able to share our platform.
Perfect. So a little bit about Read AI. As many of you might know, we started as a core meeting note-taking tool. We tie directly into your calendar to make your meetings more efficient by providing AI-generated action items, summaries, takeaways, and questions from the call in a beautifully laid out format that's easy to grasp after the fact. From there, we've really expanded, especially with our integrations, to be an overall AI productivity platform. So we tie into your CRMs, not just your meetings, but now your messages and your emails and anywhere else where you and your teams are doing work today to kind of add and supplement to that system of record that we're creating with your meetings. And then from there, as of a couple weeks ago now, Megan, I think you can now actively search against it and ask Search Copilot questions about the system of record that Reed's creating for you across your meetings and integrations. So let's get into it.
Yes, definitely. Let's just start with, the basics of Read, how to get started. Basically, all that you need for Read to function is just an integration with your calendar. So you can see here, this is my calendar page, and it shows all of my upcoming meetings. You can see here that I have my settings to have Read automatically join all of my meetings. And then if there's a meeting that I don't want it to join, I can just go in here and toggle it off. So it's super easy to make sure I have Read in the meetings I want and it's not in the meetings that I don't want it in. You can also have it set the opposite way, where you have it set to manually join your meetings. So right here, you can have it join all calendar events, join calendar events where only you're the host, join internal and external meetings, join internal meetings only. There's just a lot of different configurations that you can set up to make sure it works best for you.
Hmm. And just so you all know, like what Megan's looking at right now is essentially like the read interface. So I think the easiest way or the most common way I would say to access read is just from directly within your browser. So you just go to read.ai, you're going to log in, and then like Megan said, the first thing you want to do is integrate with your calendar. To Megan's point too, like the most important things I think when you're signing up for Read is number one, what meetings do you want it to go to, of course, and number two, who do you want to receive those meeting reports following the call? So all of us are a part of different orgs. We all have different standards or expectations as to how comfortable we may or may not be with some recorded information being shared, right? So I think the settings that Megan's about to go over are going to help you decide for yourself how you want Read to function best within your org. So go ahead, Megan.
Yeah. Yeah, report sharing is definitely a really important setting to make sure you have set up the way that you want it. So you can decide how internal coworkers would get access to your report. You can decide if you want to share all of your reports with them or manually share with them. You can also manually share reports with external folks as well, or have it set up to automatically share reports with anyone on the call. So personally, I like to share my reports with everyone that's on my meeting with me, just so they have the option to see it as well. But it's really up to you how you want to set that up, which is super nice. You can also make sure, like, you can decide how you want your reports distributed as well. So you can send it over Slack or email, and just a few other things like sending over the live meeting dashboard and when they update a calendar event. So there's just a lot of different little settings that you can go on to really customize it for it to work best to you.
Love it. So does Charlie. Apparently, he loves the share with all functionality.
It's so helpful.
Yeah. And thanks for kicking us off, Charlie. As you can tell, we're super casual here. And we want this to be an active and open conversation, especially for you all. So if at any point you can follow Charlie's lead, drop some questions in the chat, or raise your hand and let us know that you have a question. We're happy to talk through this with you all.
Definitely. Sienna, you want to kind of show what like our main reports look like?
Yeah. So let's see. Once you configure your settings, as Megan just showed, to determine what meetings you want Read to join, we'll join your calls automatically or manually just by you simply starting the meeting. From there, we'll join as an attendee, which you can then rename and humanize a little bit to familiarize your meeting attendees to the fact that there's a meeting note taker present. So in our case, we might name it as like Read AI meeting assistant notes, or in Megan's case, she might name it like Megan's assistant or something like that. But from there, we'll join. So then it's a visual cue that the meeting is being recorded as an attendee. We'll also audibly announce, hey, this meeting is being recorded. And then finally, we'll also send a meeting message in the chat, whether it be Meet or Teams or Zoom, that lets you know who added Read to the call. It'll also give people access to our privacy policy. And then finally, it will also send two controls that are pretty important to note. So if you ever want to kick Read out of a live meeting, you can always type Read stop, which would pause the recording and save everything that's been captured up until that point. Or if you hopped on a call and someone was like, hey, I'm actually really not all that comfortable with this, you can type opt out in the chat and it would actually delete everything that's been recorded up until that point. So unrecoverable, those two functions we like to call out because internally we do prefer to just have Read auto join meetings. I don't like worrying about whether or not Read is going to show up, and it's very reliable. So I like to set it to auto join and trust that if I need to kick it out, I can. That being said, to Megan's point, yes, let's go over our bread and butter, what we're probably known for most, our meeting reports. So Following a call, this is an example of a meeting report that's generated that Read AI was able to attend and capture. So this is our meeting reports. We'll always have an AI generated summary. We'll have chapters and topics that you can also pop out additional or optional descriptions for. Action items, as we all know, I think here and you know, Megan, these are a fan favorite.
Definitely.
We'll get into our integrations a little bit after this, but you could always push these to other places where you're doing task management today. So for those of us that maybe are in the sales team, like Megan and I might push these to HubSpot to create a task. Or for people like on our engineering and product team, they might push this to Jira, which is where they do task management. Key questions, you always want to be the person in the room that asks the best questions. And so if you did, Reed will be sure to cover that and highlight that. And then also there's an in-app view where if during a live call you wanted to take your own personal notes, you can do that. It's kind of like a digital sticky note, and they'll be made available private to you following the call. So super helpful. On the right-hand side, if you are on our Enterprise or our Enterprise Plus plans, it will also come with video playback. I find this to be a huge help, especially when I'm, for example, doing demos or like I'm having face-to-face external calls, or maybe for people who are reviewing financial documents or an upcoming project details. This would be huge to be able to compare what was said to what was also shown. So love that we're going to be able to give you a full picture of what was discussed in a meeting. How many times have people been sent a 40-minute recording of a meeting and you were told to watch it? Like, if I can't attend the meeting in the first place, do you think I'm going to watch a 40-minute call? Probably not. Probably not going to watch the whole 40-minute recording. So I really love that Reed condenses it down into a quick highlight reel for me. How they condense that down into a highlight reel is we're going to pick up on like engagements, reaction scores, if there was a new topic introduced, or if an action item was discussed, or a question was asked, we're going to highlight those as key points in the call, offer you them in video clip format, and then also condense it into a quick highlight reel. So that would be one way that I would either get the gist of what was being discussed by watching a highlight reel, or say, hopefully one day, if I'm a manager of a team, I can really quickly get an idea of what was discussed.
Yeah, the other thing that I love about it, because I also don't feel like watching a 40-minute recording very often, but I can quickly go through like the chapters and topics and just click on one of them and it'll jump to that point in the meeting too.
Mm-hmm.
That
100.
Anna?
You're so right. This is all interactive. So like if you ever pick up on something and like, oh, we really need to go over product for market fit and scaling, let me just go ahead and jump right there. Or if you think like, oh, this is a great thing that I want to share across the team, you can also copy and paste most of this for easy access and sharing. Of course, kind of on the same note of like a recording, we'll also always have the transcript. So I think the notes page really summarizes it well. So you don't have to, again, peel and comb through the transcript like you would maybe a recording. But it's also important to always have that there in case there's something that you wanted to go back and check on, or like you remember you had a meeting and you discussed this Jira integration, for example, but you can't remember exactly what was suggested or discussed. You can quickly keynote search this transcript, find it, and find what you were looking for much more quickly. In the deep dive section, we're going to have more data and analytics based off of engagement and sentiment scores. So for those of you that don't know, this is actually kind of how Reed started. Back in the day, they were really interested in being able to analyze whether or not a meeting was efficient or like the best use of those people's time. And so they started this technology that would essentially pick up on audio and facial cues to give you feedback as to one, how engaged are people actually in this call? And then two, what was their reaction to what was being discussed? Was it positive? Was it negative? Trying to peel back the layers on that. And so the deep dive section is going to be more of those data and analytics on that. Participation, talk time, what was the score of the engagement or sentiment? And also, I like this play by play according to the time in the call, like where was their peaks, where was their valleys. This would be good for like call reviews, for example. A lot of questions we get on this page is like, what is this read average right here? So there's millions of people that use Read worldwide, and about 20% of them choose to opt into like our customer experience program. So those that do opt in, we use their data to kind of get a better idea of how meetings are going that are being recorded with Read. And so that's essentially what determines the Read average that your meetings that you record with Read are going to be scored against. So it's kind of just gives you a good gauge of like how well did this actually go compared to other meetings that might be being recorded. Any questions? That was a lot that we went over. We have a few in the chat that we definitely can go over now, but let's let's tackle some of these questions, Megan.
Definitely. Rich asks, does the access to a report ever expire?
No. So with any of Reed's paid plans, you have unlimited storage and unlimited access to as many meeting recordings as you'd like. So you can add Reed to any meetings, all meetings that you have, and we'll always save it for you. The second that you either delete a meeting report or you delete your account, it'll automatically be wiped from our servers. But with any of our paid plans, you have no worries there. There are some limitations on like our free plan where you can only record up to like 5 meetings per month, for example. Doesn't necessarily come with all the video playback pieces, but any of our paid plans completely unlimited.
Perfect. And then another question, can I change a setting to automatically receive the PDF summary transcript without having to go into the Read AI website and download it?
Alicia, I love that question. There are options for automatically distributing the transcript. So if you, for example, had your auto share report distribution setting turned on, we would automatically either, depending on your settings, send a copy of a meeting report to all people on a meeting invite or only internal, depending on like your domain or what you have set in your settings. The PDF summary, I love that you asked about that. That's definitely on our product roadmap and on our internal team's radar. A lot of people do request that they can download read reports in PDF versions, and it's something that I think we're working on. But for present day, if you wanted to access a full meeting report, I would download it or have it set to auto distribute. Sweet.
Looks like that's all the questions we have for right now.
Alrighty, perfect. From here, Megan, do you want to take it into, or are we going to go over the reports tab first?
Um, we can go over the reports tab.
Perfect. So as you add Read to more and more meetings, we will start a little library for you essentially of all of your meeting reports. And you can access this just on your left-hand sidebar under the reports tab. So they'll all pile into here. You can tag them out according to custom tags, however you like to have your meetings organized. So maybe it might be by client or by project or by status. You can tag your meetings to quickly find them. Another thing that I really like about this page is our filters. So if you want to just look back at your last week of meetings or your last month or your last quarter of meetings, I really like being able to toggle the time frame. Also the source, if I just wanted to focus in on actually maybe not even my meetings, maybe I want to look at just my Slacks or just my uploads, you can toggle the sources. Another big advantage with Read is yes, capturing this information, but being able to share it across your team so that other people have that information too. So I would say that's a very common use case for Read is sharing things that are captured. So this filter right here essentially allows you to toggle and search across either meetings that are just created by you or things that are also shared with me. So for example, when Megan first joined the team, I threw so many meeting reports at her and was like, just get up to speed. Like, this is what we do, right? And so if I were Megan, I'd probably come in here, toggle to just shared with me as opposed to created with me and have at it.
Yeah, super helpful for sure.
I hope so. Alrighty. That's enough of the reports tab, Megan. I'll let you take the screen share to add it to
Definitely.
our next piece.
And yeah, so the one other thing I wanted to cover in the reports tab, and I think Sienna, you just didn't talk during that meeting, so it probably wouldn't have been available to you. But this is something I use a lot, and it's the coaching in the reports tab. This especially helps me. I'm in a lot of calls with external clients all the time, just to make sure, I'm not talking too fast. I'm checking my filler words which pop up a lot for me. It's something we're working on. Non-inclusive terms, interruptions. So just super helpful, whether you're client facing or even internal meetings to just see how well you're presenting.
Good point, Megan.
Thank you. But yeah, let's jump into integrations because we have some really exciting stuff within here. And while I go through that, I would love if you all threw in your chat any suggestions you have for integrations that we don't currently have. Maybe different tools that you're currently using at your company that you think would be really helpful if Reed could integrate with. So we're able to integrate with your Google Calendar, your Outlook Calendar, your Zoom Calendar. So we can pretty much cover all the bases of where your meetings are being held. We can sync with your Gmail and Outlook, your messaging based apps such as Slack and Teams. We use Slack over here, and one of my favorite things about this integration is that I will get pre-reads for meetings, and it'll send me any recurring meeting about an hour before. It'll give me a brief update of what happened during the last meeting and any action items that I have. So that saves me a lot of time so I don't have to try to go search for the meeting and figure out what I needed to do. And the great thing, yeah, the more tools that you integrate your read with, the more you're able to use our new Search Copilot tool, Sienna kind of mentioned, just to search across all the information you have in Read. So here's some other few integrations we have for collaboration tools, Confluence, Sienna showed the Jira. And then we also integrate with a couple CRMs, HubSpot and Salesforce. Some really exciting new updates coming with that stuff as well, hopefully soon. And then if there's anything we don't currently integrate with, we have these two webhooks and Zapier integrations that you can set up a custom API and integrate with the tool that you need that way, which a lot of customers use.
Yeah. I'm glad that you pulled up this integration page, Megan, because I think, of course, at the core, like as I mentioned, Reed's bread and butter is yes, the meeting reports, but I think it really comes alive when you're able to push that information that Reed captures and analyzes for you into the places where you and your teams are already working, right? Like our goal is not to change people's workflows from what they already are. The goal is to enhance them. So examples of this would be that way, but we use it internally, for example, like we use HubSpot. So I will use this to push tasks to HubSpot or be able to ask Search Copilot questions and have it pull in that HubSpot information, do task management, for example, in like Notion, Confluence, or Jira. So yeah, thanks for pulling up this integration space. How does it feed into Search Copilot, Megan?
Yeah, so that is the great thing about Search Copilot is it can literally search across all of your different information. So like earlier today, prepping for this webinar, I asked it to write me an email to send to Sienna about the topics of our upcoming webinar just to test it out, And it pulled information from different emails that we've had, different meetings that I've had, and it pulled up an email for me to send her. So the more integrations you connect with, the more reports you share with other people, the more reports they get shared with you. It just makes it that much easier for Search Copilot to help you out in your day to day because it can search across all of that information. I know I use Search Copilot every single day, especially at the end of my day when I'm doing a lot of follow-ups to help me out. Is there anything special you use Search Copilot for, Sienna?
I remember like Rob, our CTO, the other day sent something in Slack and I couldn't find it. And I knew that like digging through Slack would take me ages. And so I'm pretty sure I just straight up asked Search Copilot, like, what did Rob send in the Slack the other day about XYZ? And he was able to pull it up. And then it also matched it with other like email threads that I had without that didn't necessarily even include Rob, but it was still relevant to the subject. So things like that. Like, yes, I agree with you. I love asking it to write me emails and do my work for me, especially when I like run out of time at the end of the day. But I also think it's really good for just surfacing relevant information as opposed to our traditional methods of combing through like hundreds of email threads or hundreds of Slacks. So quickly finding relevant information that I'm not exactly sure where it's stored, is a big thing too.
Definitely. And then Rich just said he uses Search Copilot to generate email follow-up in other languages. Another super useful way for Copilot to work. I actually need to test that out, Rich, because that would definitely probably help me out a little more than Google Translate has.
Yeah. Okay, well, I love it. Megan, this has been really comprehensive for me, but how about you all as the attendees? Any questions based off of what we went over today?
While I wait for those for any questions to pop up. I'll also share in the chat a link to sign up for Read if you haven't tried it yet. We do have a 7-day free trial, and I'm also going to include Sienna and I's emails in there. If you have any questions that you think of later after this, happy to answer any that you have.
Yeah. And I know I mentioned it earlier in the beginning too, but we are looking to constantly improve on these webinars. This is, I think, our second shot. And when we suggested to our organization that we should do webinars, Megan and I, we jumped at the bit. So we're really excited to be doing these, but we're always open to continuous improvement. So let us know what you think of today's webinar and how we can improve. We'd really appreciate it.
You might even receive a quick little survey after this, just because we are really trying to improve.
Yeah, 100%. All right, Megan, we are going to give away one for year of read. So who is our winner today?
Today, our winner is Alicia.
Perfect.
Congratulations, Alicia. Hope I pronounced your name right. Um, but we will follow up with you via email.
Yay. Thanks so much, Charlie. Excited to see that you are looking into it now and really appreciate all of you all joining. We're going to be doing these bi-weekly. Next week, we're actually going to pass it off to our customer success team. So if you like what you've seen here and you think that like you and your teams could benefit from it or would be interested in like testing it in a team sandbag kind of like POC environment, I would highly recommend our next webinar. They're going to be going over how you can decide on an admin for your organization, how you can get people onboarded into what we call a workspace. So you can look at Read not just as an individual, but as a team. So tune into that. We'll follow up with you all via email for or with information and a link to register for that. And we'll hopefully see you there.
Yes. Hope everyone has a great rest of your Wednesday and a good week.
Thanks so much. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.